Good evening. Hello, dear listener. Maybe you're sitting quietly in a dimly lit room. Maybe you're driving through empty streets at night. Or maybe you're simply searching for a moment to reconnect with yourself, somewhere in the endless current of life. Tonight, we begin a new journey, not just an astrological one, but a journey inward, a return to the unspoken questions that have been waiting for light, to the part of you that's been quietly whispering, "It's time to begin again." And if you are an Aries, or carry the flame of Aries in your chart, you'll feel this moment more than anyone else, because the new moon is entering your skies. On the 21st, this is more than a celestial event. This Aries new moon is an invitation from the universe, meant just for you, an invitation to start over. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac, the spark that ignites all beginnings, the fire that wakes life up from winter's sleep. And when the new moon rises in Aries, it's as if the universe gently places a hand on your shoulder and asks, "Are you ready to take the next step?" This new moon energy isn't soft like a whisper, it's more like a pulse, a bold, unmistakable call that rises from the marrow of your bones. It asks you to act, to move, to change, not because someone told you to, but because your own soul is longing to live more truthfully, more fully. This is the moment to look straight into the mirror, not just the one that reflects your face, but the mirror of your soul, where dreams you once buried and wishes you once folded away for a better time are still waiting, and maybe, just maybe, that better time is now. The Aries new moon is the perfect moment to redraw the map of your life. It doesn't have to be detailed. It just has to begin with one honest question. What still makes your heart tremble? Because where the trembling is, that's where you belong. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you've doubted yourself more times than you can count, but you're still here. That ember inside you, it's still glowing. All it needs is a gust of wind. And this new moon is that wind. New moon, new you. Not a new version born from pressure or performance, but from coming home to your original self. The one that's bold, unfiltered, awake. You don't need to become someone else. You only need to become you, but more confident, more courageous, more alive. Do you remember the last time you felt full of energy? The last time you woke up and knew exactly what you wanted? Or the moment you said, "I can't keep living like this"? If you've ever had a moment like that, let this new moon be a new version of it, a mirror echo, another chance. You get to begin again. You get to choose again. There's no shame in what you've missed, but there is loss in continuing to delay yourself for one more cycle when your soul is ready now. And then, in the quiet moment when you start to see light ahead, another layer opens. This isn't just about action anymore, but about tracing the light back to its source, to the place within you it's trying to reach. Perhaps it's time to return to your inner map and see which room inside your soul this new moon is gently illuminating. Are you still with me? If the first part was the fire that lights up the outside, then now just imagine you're standing in front of a house, your own house, not the one made of bricks and roof tiles, but the one built from soul and silence. Each of us has a personal astrological chart, and within it, 12 rooms, 12 houses, and this new moon, like a quiet lantern in the night, is gently shining its light into one of those rooms inside you. A room you may not have visited in a long time. Maybe it's been collecting dust. Maybe it holds old memories, maybe pain, unfinished dreams, or a promise you once made to yourself and forgot. If this new moon falls in your first house, then the light is calling your name. It's calling your image, your body, your very sense of being alive. This is no longer the time to ask, "What do people think of me?" It's time to ask, "Am I truly living as myself?" If it lands in your fourth house, the light enters your home, your roots, your family, maybe your current home, maybe the echoes of your childhood. The new moon here might stir old emotions, but not to trap you in the past, to help you heal, to let you choose again. What values do I want to build my new life upon? If it lights up your seventh house, This is a call from your closest relationships. A spouse, a partner, someone who walks beside you. It's time to renew the vow, or gently close a door that no longer opens to your future. Because none of us were made to walk alone forever, but neither were we meant to walk beside someone who no longer walks in the same direction. And if the new moon reaches your 10th house, its light is falling directly on your career, your purpose. This is the place where you give your gifts to the world, and this is the time to ask yourself, am I living in alignment with what I believe in? Does my work still feed my spirit, or is it slowly draining the life out of me? And if you're wondering, what about the other rooms? Then let me tell you, there are houses where the light arrives like a whisper, like the 8th house, where your deepest fears about money, loss, or power live, or the 12th house, where forgotten dreams, old ghosts, and quiet loneliness wait to be released. There are also rooms that hold joy, like the 5th house of love and creativity, or the 9th house, where faraway journeys, new ideas, and wide horizons invite you to take a step forward. Each room, each house in your chart, is a piece of your becoming, and the new moon, no matter where it appears, never comes to destroy. It comes to open, to clear, to give you a chance to begin again. But this time, with the heart of someone who's lived enough to understand, life isn't meant to be perfect, it's meant to be real. And so, as you walk down the hallway of your inner home, quietly opening door after door, touching spaces you once left untouched, you begin to realize this journey isn't just about what's arriving, it's also about what's ready to leave. Because before the light enters, there's always a moment when the lights must go out, so we can finally see what's been hiding in the dark. And in that moment, when the light becomes just enough to see what no longer fits, that is when we begin to let go, gently, clearly, as if it were the most natural thing in the world sometimes, to begin something truly new. You don't need a grand gesture, you just need to clear space. Not your closet, not your home, not the things you can touch with your hands, but the ones you carry inside, clearing out a memory, releasing a relationship that has faded, letting go of a habit that, deep down, you know it's time to say goodbye to. The new moon, especially when it rises in Aries, isn't just a moment to start something, it's a quiet ritual, a sacred turning point that no one else sees, no applause, no spotlight, just you. And the deepest part of you, listening in the stillness, you know the saying, you can't fill a cup that's already full. You can't pour fresh tea into a cup still holding old grounds, and you can't truly live a new chapter if your eyes are still fixed on the page you couldn't stop rereading, blurred by regret. So ask yourself, what habit do you keep repeating, even though you know it's draining your spirit? What relationship are you still holding on to? Not out of love, but out of fear of being alone. What dream have you folded away, placed high on a shelf, waiting for the right time that never quite comes? Not everything from your past needs to be thrown away, but anything that no longer fits the person you are becoming. It's time to let it float away, gently, no anger, no guilt. No need to explain, clearing space. That too is an act of love, loving yourself enough to say, that's enough. Loving yourself enough to make room for something better to arrive, because you deserve space that breathes, space that holds growth, reborn faith, and light touching corners you forgot existed. And if you're an Aries, or carry strong Aries energy, you might feel an urgency to act now, to fix, to move, to do. But sometimes, the most powerful action is to pause, to breathe, and to begin letting go, not because you're weak, but because you're learning how to move with the current of your own inner rhythm. Letting go doesn't mean losing. Letting go means making space to hold something more complete. And then, as your inner world opens up, as the old noise begins to fade, you'll start to hear something new, a softer rhythm, a quiet pulse, not rushed, not loud, just a subtle wave, like the whisper of the universe, reminding you it's time to come home, to reach deep into the beliefs that live inside you, the ones that have fueled you, and the ones that have held you back, the ones waiting to be seen. From the other side of fear, there are things buried deep in the mind that don't have a name. They don't show up like clear memories. They don't shine like vivid dreams. They live quietly, like an underground stream. And only when we become still enough can we hear their whispers, this new moon. If there's something truly different about it, it's this: it doesn't just light up the surface. It goes deeper. It gently opens a door, leading inward, toward the beliefs you've carried for years, some since childhood, born from a careless sentence or a wound that never got the chance to heal. The 8th, 9th, and 12th houses in your natal chart are lands not many dare to visit because they hold layers of memory that aren't easy to face. Beliefs about worthiness, fears of loss, fear of death, both literal and symbolic. That feeling of not being good enough, not smart enough, not important enough, so you move forward. But you wear those beliefs like an invisible coat. You carry them into your relationships, into your decisions, into your love, and even into the moments where you abandon yourself. This Aries new moon, it didn't come to expose you. It came to awaken your courage, because Aries is the pioneer, the one who dares to take the first step, even when there's no map. And only when you pick up the torch and walk into your own inner shadows will you realize there's more than fear in the dark. There's you, raw, original, beautiful, in a way no one ever told you. Have you ever wondered why you keep avoiding something? A relationship that makes you feel small, an opportunity you quietly think you're not good enough for, a dream you keep saying when I have time and never return to. Try listening, not with your ears, but with your awareness, with the part of you that's been trying not to feel, because in that shadow, there's a version of you still waiting, not to be judged, but to be held. And when you finally look fear in the eyes, you'll see it's not as big as it once seemed. It was just waiting for you to step closer, to reach out and gently say, I see you, and now I'm moving on. No light is ever whole if it hasn't passed through the dark. No courage is real if it hasn't trembled first. And in that moment, when you can hold both the light and the dark within you, you'll start to feel something shift. You'll feel free. And when you learn to move from the inside out, your outer actions become steadier. Not to prove anything, not to run from sadness, but to live honestly, consciously, and with deep love for yourself. And from that place, a different kind of movement begins to rise, not from the depths of your soul anymore, but from a wind beyond you, an invisible way, carrying the message of transformation. Now sweeping across the fields of time, some changes arrive like a passing breeze, gentle, almost unnoticeable. And then, there are changes that come like a silent earthquake. No noise, but powerful enough to shake the very ground inside you. That's Pluto. On the 23rd, Pluto, the planet of power, rebirth, and shadow, will officially leave one chapter and step into another. Pluto enters Aquarius. This isn't a fleeting moment. It's the beginning of a 20-year cycle, a quiet but relentless process that will touch the deepest parts of your soul and ask the question, will you choose fear or will you choose power? In astrology, Pluto doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just comes to break, to rebuild, to remove whatever is no longer true, no matter how tightly you're holding on. And for Aries, the fire starter, the one who goes first, this is a soul-level test of will. You'll be placed in moments where there is no turning back, where you must move forward, even if your legs are shaking. There will be moments when it feels like everything is falling apart, but if you're brave enough to pause and look deeper, you'll see it's not you that's collapsing. It's the parts of your life that were never truly you to begin with. Pluto represents inner power, not the kind that controls others, but the kind that helps you govern yourself. The strength to choose faith over fear, the courage to rise instead of just endure. You may be tested in ways you didn't expect, a relationship that suddenly becomes unclear, a career dream that asks for redefinition, a sharp turn in your family life. But remember, This is not a punishment. It's an invitation from the universe. Are you ready to step into your true power? Pluto doesn't need you to understand everything. It only asks that you be real and brave enough to stay with yourself when the world around you goes quiet. Because from that silence, true power is born, and as you shed old skin, as you move through challenges like midnight winds, you'll start to realize something quietly profound. Power isn't something you chase, it's what you become. When you're no longer afraid of losing anything, and when you finally touch that deepest layer inside, you won't need to force strength anymore. You'll just be present, and that will be enough. Because from that depth, life begins to shift. Soft like a breath, but strong. Like a declaration to the universe. I'm back. Not as the version of me that was afraid, but as the one who dares to live, to lead, and to move forward toward a future that's being rewritten. In quiet waves, shaping the world, in ways we're only just beginning to understand. There are moments in life when you're no longer the one making the choice. You're the one standing at a crossroads. No shortcuts, no easy turn, no applause, no spotlight, just you and yourself, just fear, and what you truly believe is worth stepping through. Pluto is not gentle. It doesn't knock with the softness of a spring breeze. It arrives like a storm, unannounced, unapologetic, tearing through everything that's rotted within, that you're still trying to hold on to. But here's the strange thing. In those moments when you feel like there's nothing left to grip, you start to discover what's most real inside your heart. No more roles, no more expectations, just one question left standing: who do I want to become? After all of this, and if you're an Aries, you know that feeling better than anyone else. You were born to go first, but this time, your next step isn't just forward. It's through fear with your will. As the torch, you don't need to be strong in the way the world defines strength. You just need to be honest with yourself and brave enough to live that truth. Even when the world doesn't understand, even when it's not ready, Pluto pushes you to the edge. And there, you begin to understand something deeper. That true growth doesn't come from things going smoothly. It comes when you choose to stand tall, even as everything around you demands a root-deep transformation. And yes, you will change, but not by abandoning who you were. You'll change by embracing all of you. The one who's been hurt, who's failed, who's chosen wrong, and still chooses to keep writing this story with your own hands. You know, not everyone gets the chance to begin again, to be reborn, with their hearts still whole. So if you find yourself standing at that threshold, where Pluto ignites the lesson of transformation, know this: you're not being punished. You're being invited to become a deeper, truer, stronger version of yourself than ever before. And when you finally move forward, not because you were forced to, but because you chose to, with every conscious breath, something will begin to settle in your heart. No one can write your story but you. No one else can hand you your power if you're not ready to claim it for yourself. And in the middle of what may feel harsh, there will be a quiet moment, a still point, when you look back and realize what you just went through didn't break you, it lit you up. Not a loud fire, but a steady glow, enough to help someone else find their way. And from that light, something begins to shift. It's no longer just about your own challenge. It becomes something bigger, a deeper connection, where you're not just living for yourself anymore. You're becoming a bridge, opening the path for a new generation of thought, of values, and of belief. Sometimes we think transformation is something distant, a beam of divine light, a spiritual journey that floats far above reality. But in truth, transformation is standing in your kitchen, cooking your first breakfast after everything fell apart. It's hitting send on that resignation email with shaky hands but a steady heart. It's looking at someone you used to love and realizing it's time to let go. Or maybe it's even simpler, waking up a little earlier than usual, making yourself a cup of tea, and deciding to start caring for yourself again. This Aries new moon, with all its energy of rebirth and new beginnings, isn't just about the deep, unseen layers. It touches what's closest to home: your work, your relationships, your health, and your sense of family. The four pillars we all try to balance while spinning through life's chaos. Let's start with career and finances. If there's ever a time to reassess your path, it's now, not to change because of pressure, but to ask yourself honestly, does this work still nourish my soul? Is the money I'm chasing aligned with the values I live by? No one taxes your dreams, but they can't come alive if you're too afraid to move. Now, love and relationships. This new moon feels like a mirror, reflecting every crack and fracture. Relationships that exist only out of habit, loneliness, or duty, they may be up for review, and you'll have to choose. Keep holding on to what's already faded, or let go with courage to make space for something new. Something that loves you, not for the role you play, but for the soul you are. Health and habits. Change doesn't have to start big. A full night's sleep, a nourishing meal, 1 hour each morning without your phone. When you show love to your body, you teach the world how to treat you. And family, home. You might feel the urge to move, or maybe your role in the family is shifting. You're becoming the caregiver, or the one who needs to be held. Whatever it is, this is your moment to choose again, where home really is. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a place where you can breathe fully, deeply, and in peace. Life doesn't ask if you're ready. It simply brings you to the crossroads and waits to see if you're honest enough to follow that quiet voice within. And the miracle is in those everyday decisions, those small but sacred choices. We begin writing the next chapter of our lives. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real, brave, loving, and from where you're standing, as the pieces of your life begin to rearrange in a whole new pattern, something soft begins to shift, not the world outside, but you. The part of you that starts to believe that even the smallest moves, when made with truth, can open the way for something extraordinary to find you. There are things in life you simply can't predict. A phone call in the middle of the night, a door that closes without warning. Someone you once trusted suddenly feels like a stranger, and sometimes it's a dream you've held onto for so long that slips right through your hands. That's life. It doesn't ask for your permission before it changes. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready before it tests you, but it always gives you one thing, something no person, no circumstance can take from you: the power to choose how you respond. You can shrink, you can blame, deny, even give up, but you can also, like a true Aries flame, rise, not to prove anything to anyone, but to remind yourself, I wasn't born to fall apart. I was born to become. Through every scar, every crack, every moment, I had to relearn how to believe. There's a quiet kind of strength in a warrior who no longer fights for pride or ego, but out of deep respect for the path they've chosen to walk. You don't have to be loud, you don't have to rush, you just need to move, steadily, gently, day by day, with your eyes open, your heart unguarded, and your full presence in every small decision you make. Because what defines you isn't what happened to you, it's how you choose to move forward after everything that did. If there's one thing I want to leave you with in these last few moments, it's this: a message from heart to heart. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to remember one thing. You're here, you're alive. Every challenge is just a shell waiting for you to break through. And that fire inside you, it's never gone out. So rise, not because you're fearless, but because you've grown strong enough to no longer let fear decide for you. Respond with compassion for yourself and for the world. Take action, not to win against someone else, but to meet the version of you you've always wanted to become. You are Aries. You carry the pioneering spirit of spring, where life begins again after a long, cold winter. You are fire, not just to burn, but to light the way and warm the world. And if there's one thing to hold close from this new moon journey, let it be this: Keep going, keep steady with your heartbeat, and remember, you can always begin again, every day, right where you are. Because light always begins with just a single spark, and sometimes that spark is you.